freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 366 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearmsauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, ammo, and accessories. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is the 2022 Arizona U.S. Senate race. Our guest today is Jim Lamon. Jim is a veteran, an engineer, and the founder of the Arizona-based solar engineering and construction company that employs over 1,700 workers nationwide. He's been a lifelong America First conservative who has committed much of his time and money supporting the state of Arizona. And now, Jim is running for United States Senate for the state of Arizona.
Welcome to the show, Jim.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Cheryl, Dan. Look forward to talking to some of our mutual friends as 2A members. That's certainly something that's near and dear to my heart.
Absolutely. So the 2022 election is going to be an exciting one across the nation as well as here in Arizona. We're seeing so many people step up for the first time to run for office like yourself. Was there a lightning rod moment that made you decide to run for U.S. Senate, or was it sort of a culmination of things?
One of the biggest things, Cheryl, was I was an elector on the ballot here in Arizona for the presidential elector, one of 11. And when I saw what was going on in the election, results coming in with fake ballots and things of that nature that Giuliani and others were pointing out, and contacted Doug, our governor, Ducey, and it didn't matter. He just, moved immediately to certification. I said, this can't stand. And of course, we saw this numerous places across the country. Soon after, we saw the debacle of a presidency in Biden. We saw Mark Kelly, our senator, who ran as a moderate. Now, of course, we know he and his wife's record on 2A are absolutely 180 degrees opposite of what you and I and your listeners believe in. But just the entirety of this incompetence in Washington. This is a great country, and I've lived the American dream. I've been very blessed with it. Humble beginnings, and to build and recently have sold my $1 billion company. I needed to do more for my country other than supporting conservatives. With I'm the largest contributor in the state for conservative causes and candidates. I looked at the candidates that were speaking of getting into the race, and I just did not feel like they could take it to the woodshed with Mark Kelly like I am. And we must get the Senate back. As you know, it's very evenly divided in the Senate. Arizona is the #1 competitive race. Of course, Herschel in Georgia is looking good. Maybe Laxalt in Nevada. We must win Arizona. This is not a blue state. This is not a purple state. This is a red state. We need a candidate to step up and take it to these progressives.
Boy, absolutely. You've already had a successful career. And a lot of times people say, okay, good for me. Pat me on the back. I'm going to go, just retire and enjoy the spoils of my labors. You are diving into the snakiest of snake pits. And I applaud that, because not everybody can do that. Not everybody would even think of doing that. What I mean, I know that you just said you believe you are the best candidate to really duke it out in
No
that
question.
arena with Mark Kelly. But God, what does your family think? Are they ready for this? Because when you serve, you don't just serve yourself; your whole family does.
Great question, Cheryl, and great observation. I was blessed with two grandkids over the last year and a half. And I cannot imagine in America that we don't turn over to them as this generation a country at least as good as we had it.
Amen.
My granddad served in the military. My dad served. I served. I was a 6-year Army paratrooper officer and engineer officer, front lines, Cold War. This country is not what Washington is putting out today. No, not close. I've been blessed with a great career in industry after the military. And by the way, I was fortunate to play a couple of years of a college linebacker for Coach Bryant at Alabama, which will tell you that anything is possible if you work your butt off and go make it happen. And I've been fortunate in industry for that. I came out of the coal and gas industry, building some of the largest coal and gas plants in the country. I worked myself up to president, and we built that company to be the second largest, or grew that company to be the second largest in the country. Moved to Arizona, as I said, over 8 years, owned no debt. We built a $1 billion company in the power industry. I just feel like we have to give back, Cheryl, Dan, to this country. We can't sit and watch the incremental destruction of our country that the Communist Chinese Party, through the Democratic Party of George Soros, Biden, Harris, Mark Kelly, Schumer, AOC, this entire lot of people that, they should be trying to run Venezuela, not America. And those of us as patriots, we have to stand up, just like, from the Revolutionary War. We had a very small percentage of those who actually participated, and many sat back and, even housed British officers, while those of us who took up arms, those patriots that took up arms and stopped that tyranny. I think the same thing today of tyranny in our country. I have to stand up. I have to do more than just be the largest donor to conservatives in Arizona. I've been blessed, with this great company that just sold and financial side of that. So I'm putting, it takes a small fortune to beat George Soros and Kelly and that cabal, and I intend to do it. We are all over the air here in Arizona with great ads. We speak the truth. We're going to do the same every day. I don't run against Republicans. I don't feel any of them can beat Mark Kelly, certainly not beat me. So I'm after Mark Kelly every day. There will be no one left in Arizona that won't know the contrast of Lamon policies and the liberalism of Mark Kelly during the course of this race.
I lived in Arizona all my life, Jim, and I know there's a big help wanted sign on the Capitol right now saying looking for a U.S. senator that will serve the people. Okay, and so I think you got a really good chance, because it seems that the Mark Kelly is not serving us, he's serving him.
Yeah, I totally agree. Humble guy, humble farm boy from Alabama, been in Arizona 13 years. I've worked hard during my life, and I'll be darned if I'm going to see this country move further to the left. We have got to move this thing back to the right, and in a big measure. The independents in this state are not happy with Mark Kelly either. They enjoy their freedom in Arizona. This mask mandate, vaccine mandate, that's not what freedom in this country is about.
Right.
I'd just like to speak a moment for an example in my company, as you mentioned, that we built from 0 to 1,700 staff over that 8 years. Being a veteran, we hired veterans first. 22% of the staff that we had were veterans. You might also like, as well as the listeners, that in the company, you had to opt out of getting a 5-year NRA membership. The company paid for it. We also, and very few did, if anyone. The other part of it is our concealed carry weapons permit. Here's a beautiful thing in Arizona, constitutional state, of course, carry. We paid for that as a company. You could fly, we'd fly in our team members and their spouse or significant other for the training to get their permit, which of course is good in, over 30 states now in the country. So very pro Second Amendment. It's the one that protects all the other amendments, of course, in our Constitution.
Absolutely. And, you've already put your money where your mouth is in doing that with your business. There was no political gain for that, right? But so often we see and hear politicians, and I will make the distinction between a politician and a public servant.
Thank you.
I think that's an important distinction. We'll see and hear politicians say, "Oh, I support the Second Amendment,
But
and
big but too.
big but." And Mark Kelly is a big but in that arena. I can't believe ever with a straight face that he would have said that he supports the Second Amendment, but he has, all the while being, he and his wife Gabby Giffords have the organization Giffords, which is totally Bloomberg funded, totally anti-gun, totally anti-Constitution. What do you see, should you be successful in being elected?
Okay.
How do you use your office to protect, preserve, and restore all of our Second Amendment rights? Because at that level, at the federal level, you will be impacting not just Arizona, but the nation.
Absolutely. And for those in the country who think Mark Kelly and Gabby are on the right track, go spend some time in Chicago. See what it's like to not have your Second Amendment rights. Go to New York City. That's what their version looks like. If you want their version of many other policies, of course, you can go to Venezuela or Havana, et cetera, or move to China and not be one of the Communist Chinese Party, but be one of the other people. That's what it's like to live under a regime that does not have protection of the Second Amendment. I'll be fearless in Second Amendment. It's just the fundamental right that protects all the other amendments. There's not going to be a single voter in Arizona that is on any media, TV, Hulu, digital, that will not understand the policy of Mark and Gabby versus Jim Lamon and the campaign for America First and Second Amendment. It will be crystal clear because I think that last election and the way the campaign was run by Martha did leave some of that gap out there. Or maybe it came too late. This is going to be crystal clear. The people of Arizona love their police, love the Border Patrol. And I'd like to just say that I have the endorsement of all of those and many more that we could speak to. People in Arizona will be safe. They don't want to be Chicago.
What about our borders? I
It
mean,
is
it's a big concern right now for a lot of Arizonans, especially along the border. What can you do for us?
Dan, this is not a crisis, as many in the media would say. This is an invasion. I'm fortunate to have Brandon Judd endorsement and the National Border Patrol Council members, 21,000 members, Art Vecchio, Tom Holman, Mark Morgan, Chad Wolf, all of those have endorsed our campaign. They've interviewed all candidates, the Republican and of course, Mark Kelly. And as they'd say, Mark Kelly never returns a call. He knows nothing of the border. He hasn't been to the border. This is a state under an invasion. If you take their numbers, it's 42,000 a week, America.
Right.
That's the size of a Major League Baseball stadium. This is very little. If we were to talk about humanitarian issues, that's a very small part of this. We have a great legal immigration system of 3 million a year. This additional 2.5 million is absolutely must be stopped. I will, Dan, as I've said on the campaign trail, we say on the website, I will do everything possible to shut down the business of the U.S. Senate until we get that southern border and, quite frankly, now the northern border because of the cartel members that are bringing very bad actors through the northern border. Until we get that secured, I will do everything I can to stop business in the U.S. Senate. It's that important. It's the number one issue of our campaign. It's our number one priority.
Right, because we're seeing it right now. They're ignoring it. They're ignoring the drugs that are coming through. They're ignoring the amount of people that are coming through. Super frustrating when that's happening.
And as I'm sure most listeners know, that we lost more Americans to drug overdose last year than we did in the Vietnam all years combined. And we aren't outraged by that in Washington. And quite frankly, Republicans should be doing much more to do everything they can to top legislation until this out. I'll do it, but it should be being done today. The deaths, the crime rates in this country, they're going up. And these are bad actors. There's a few in the humanitarian crisis situation. Guys, we can address that under remain in Mexico policy, finish the wall, mandatory e-verify, end all funding of sanctuary cities. And I intend to be held accountable, just like in business.
Yes.
My goal is a quarterly report back to the people of Arizona. We've got 20 policies on our website. About 14 are there today, and we're building out the other 6. The border is certainly there already. These are hard driving America First issues, and that I intend to do my level best, Dan. I'm not going there to pussyfoot around. As Cheryl said, I could have a very easy life at the beach or the mountain somewhere, but I'm putting in serious money of my own and the thousands of Arizonians and American folks from Arizona and America that are putting money into this campaign in small donations.
We have everything in our life in Arizona. I mean, we've invested in this state for years. And the top concerns I have is, one is our rights, our Second Amendment rights. Second would be the border. And the third would be, what are we going to do about this voting? You know, we know.
As you said, you were an elector and you saw right away, something is not right here.
Right.
But then what do we do about the fact that something's not right here?
So not only as an elector, but I then helped fund the audit. The legislature did not put enough money out there to do the audit as it was in fact done right. And it was done very well. Do not believe the media trying to create these issues about it was done very well. It was done systematically, and the results show that. There are very serious issues of fraud found in that audit. And fortunately for our legislation here in Arizona, we have a 1-seat majority in the House and Senate, 2 in the Senate, 1 in the House. And we've gotten some laws passed last year, and we have more on the table this year that have already been put into the cycle that we started here with those folks meeting at State Capitol already in January. But we've got a few that are squishes, as I like to call them, that are on the bubble of those that can make or break it. I am very public, and I've said this, and I've told them to their face on the campaign trail, as the largest donor in Arizona, I will primary them, and we are doing that already, raising funds and capital to primary anyone on the Republican side who votes against the principles of America First, including election integrity. Second Amendment, of course, is front center. All the other issues that matter, from closed borders to taxes and regulation, things that really matter, of course, in the state, CRT in our schools. Very active in that, guys, not just in my own Senate race, but from a standpoint of other America First candidates here in Arizona.
Very good. You are part in your business, part of the rare breed of American manufacturers. Like, I have to specify, like, emphasize these words. What can you do should you become Arizona's next senator to support other organizations who are trying to cut the cord of dependency on China and other importers?
Sure. In our company, we were doing hundreds and hundreds of millions of revenue per year. We actually had a bonus system in our company to incentivize our team to buy American. That was a corporate goal, and we succeeded. 75% of every dollar was spent here in America. As we progressively got that number better and better. Then we went to Mexico, Canada, Europe for anything we couldn't find here. Only 5% was left as Chinese supply. We were so focused on getting that to zero that we'd actually invested in a company in California to move them to Arizona and not be owned by China, but be owned by this company. Very dedicated toward that. How do we do that on a nationwide basis? That is that we have certain rules in American manufacturing and business that we have to live by: reasonable wages, reasonable safety conditions, things that a civilized society does, reasonable pollution control standards, et cetera. None of that applies in China. It is absolutely wrong that we allow those countries, including China, to import into America without a tariff that levelizes the playing field. We can't have one set of rules for ourselves and allow someone else just to go around the rules. I intend to be very hard on making sure those tariffs are in place for Chinese goods or other countries so that we have an American system that's level and a level playing field. When we do that, American companies will rise to the occasion. I have no question about that. I've seen it in our company when we were supplying that ability to say, we will buy from you, Mr. American Transformer, copper, steel, SCADA systems, things of that nature. They respond. If you make it a level playing field, America will win every day.
Mm-hmm. So often, to be a business person, we get this Lone Ranger mentality. Like, I'm the only one that can do it. No one can do it better than me. If you want something done right, do it yourself. But especially at the level of business you were at, and moving into a position, if you become successful with your campaign to be elected as a
Win.
senator, you are
Right.
going
Win,
to need
right.
to engage in coalition building, in bringing other people together. What is your best strategy for that? What are some of your successes that you've had in that arena?
A couple things. Number one, my first meeting after being sworn in, we'll meet with Kirsten Sinema. Look for the overlap in areas that we can get things done in Arizona. Bringing water from the Mississippi River to the headwaters of Colorado, for example. I don't expect any cooperation from her on Second Amendment, but we're solid, and I will be. Making sure that any areas we can find good for the people of Arizona. Other is that I intend to be a very vocal America First leader on the Senate floor. I'll shame anyone who is not America First, Democrat, Republican, Independent, doesn't matter with me. It's America that comes first, period, end of story. So from a coalition standpoint, someone's going to be shaming those who shouldn't be doing what they're calling it out. American people mobilize when they see a true cause and someone standing up for them. And I'll be that guy on the Senate floor. I like to say with Ron DeSantis, we had a conversation with him, what about 3 weeks ago when he was out here in Arizona. Ron, I appreciate what you're doing as kind of America's governor right now, right? He kind of stands up the most of any governor, certainly not Doug here in Arizona, but Ron stands up. And I told him, I said, Ron, the little headliner brother, you're going to have to pick up your game because January 2023, I'm going to make you look weak on the American First side from what I'm going to call out from the U.S. Senate floor. Because, guys, I am not going there to pussyfoot around. America has no more time to let elected officials or otherwise keep moving this country incrementally to the left toward what Communist Chinese Party love to see. We have got to do a course correction and do it hard.
Absolutely.
Jim, I heard a comment that you said, and it kind of shocked me a little bit, and I hope I heard it right. Talking about water from the Mississippi into Arizona. Is that
Ron, I'm a civil engineer, again, been in the business of building billion-dollar plants, for the last 30 years. When I announced my race, one of the senior guys at Bureau of Land Reclamation said, Jim, I want to get you up to speed on water. I said, absolutely. I want to hear all the ideas. I've heard desalinization. I've heard, of course, we're conserving already and we can always do more. We don't ever want to be wasteful of water. But if you look at what we do in oil and gas, we drill in the Permian Basin and we use that. We process it in Houston and we send it up to, say, New Hampshire for home heating oil or to drive the turbines in gas turbine plants. We can absolutely do the same thing with water. The water in our canal system in Arizona is 1.5 million acre feet. It comes through the mountains in a 20-foot diameter pipe, 1.5 million acre feet. If you look at the bathtub ring around Lake Mead that we're short, it happens to be about the same, 1.5. A 20-foot diameter pipe from coming across the northern plains of Mississippi. I want to do 3 of those, call it 4.5, 5 million acre feet. Mississippi is about 60 million acre feet at that point, and of course ends up on a good water year, dumping in about 100 million acre feet into Gulf of Mexico. Take a small portion of it to help solve our water problems in the West.
Yes.
This is already on the design boards at the Bureau of Land and Reclamation. They've estimated it at 25 million per pipe. Then they spent that this morning in DC.
Yes.
It's just a matter of having the guts and the tenacity and the strength to stand up and go do the right thing again for America. This is America. We can do big things here. We've done big things before, and we got to get back to that and doing those.
Jim, I have
So-
been saying that for 5 years about the water thing. And
It's-
it's amazing because, you go and look at Lake Mead right now and you'll have a tear come out your eye.
Well-
It's
And then there's flooding in other parts of the nation. So we're like, why can't we just bring
right. Because we do it
that
with oil.
water this way? So-
Guys, to move the petroleum products we do around this country, those are corrosive. Water is not corrosive. We can absolutely and will do this. You just have to have someone go to DC that's got, like I said, the guts to stand up and move big things. Oh, Jim, you can't do it. It crosses, several states. You got the EPA, you got the Forest Service, you got blah, blah, blah. Guys, this is America. Extract your head from wherever it's at and understand we do big things here. This country is the beacon of that for the world. And we're going to get back to it. I will do everything I can to do those type of things.
Right.
This is not, it's 1,230 miles. That's it.
Yeah.
22 pumping stations. This is not even a large engineering feat. We just need to get on with it. A company like Bechtel, Fluor Industries, those type people could do this in 3 years to get at least the first pipeline in. We bring it across the interstate right away in most parts, which run across the Northern Plains, expand everywhere we need to and get on with it. So,
Well,
Yeah.
Jim, it's a point of we're going to have to do it eventually. So why not do it when we know how to right now? Do it now. But anyway, I didn't want to. I didn't
Inspire
want to.
innovation
It's
and
awesome.
figure it out, right?
guys, it's just doing the right thing, common sense. Politicians think, what are their poll numbers every day? This is about what does America need? And you need a U.S. senator that is going to stand up for America first, go do big things. And inside a balanced budget, by the way, this is not extra funding. We're going to find much greater priorities to move water than some of the other billions that are being spent there. Again, a drop in the bucket for the trillions that DC is spending.
Boy, that's a definitely.
No pun intended with drop in the
Yes,
bucket.
drop in the bucket. I caught that. And then, just touching back on what you said about Ron DeSantis and telling him he better step it up because you're going to out America first him, taking it back to that business idea, when you have a strong, capable, competent competitor, I think it brings out the best in both businesses. And I feel that way about even our political parties. When one party goes so far off to this fringe, it doesn't inspire the best in anybody.
Right.
So if we even had a stronger, as you're saying, you can look at, all right, what is Ron DeSantis doing? How can I sharpen my, as iron sharpens iron, how can I sharpen what I do against that? And not for Jim Lamon, right? Not
Right.
for me,
Right.
but for the nation, for your
Exactly.
grandchildren, for the next generation. I think that's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah. If this was me, I'd be doing it on, complaining on the beach somewhere about all things in Washington. I'm stepping up, going to go do my damnedest to make sure this country gets back in the right path. And in business, you always have a strategy that you're going to adhere to. That's called, in this case, the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. Getting back to that answers almost every question. What was this country designed to do? What is the strategy of this country? And that is freedom and those rights of protection in the Constitution. Many people, that doesn't work for them. It doesn't work for Mark Kelly and Biden, Harris. Guys, there's a lot of other countries that have your type of view, and that's Venezuela, Cuba, Communist China. Please go there.
Yes.
I'll buy your one-way tickets for you, right?
I'll
But
donate.
in America, it's the strategy of the Constitution, Bill of Rights. And the other one, Cheryl, is in business, with the right leadership, with the tenacity and the guts and the strength and the strategy, it's about people. And I see all too often senators' staff are young, Democrat, Republicans that have come out of college as the head of some affiliation in college. Because I'm bringing with me of those top 20 policies that we have, from water, border, getting rid of the Department of Education, things of that nature. I'm bringing an expert on my team, and it's their job to make sure they're in every committee meeting, every bill markup, know everything about that issue, and that's what they focus on. Just like when I played in college football, my job was outside linebacker. It wasn't strong safety. It wasn't, defensive attack. My job is to be that leader in every one of those 20. It's their job to know everything about that and make sure that we get that legislation written right and passed. And then with Dershowitz, one of the greatest constitutional lawyers, in the country has seen, I want 3 of him, that type of person that can make me have that get things done attitude from day one. I don't want to sit and learn about that. I want them to help me understand it immediately and make sure that we tie up that Senate in any and every way we can to get this country back to where it needs to be with these policies. And lastly, is hard work. No one on that Senate floor or house is going to outwork Jim Lamon. This campaign is 13 hours a day, 6 days a week already. I'm up at 5 o'clock. I hit the weight room or yoga or whatever I'm doing that day, cardio, and it's all day long. I, hit the rack at about 9 o'clock at night. That's what America's got to have. This time about taking vacations and Biden going off to, La La Land and Rhode Island. So that's got to stop. This country needs leadership, and it needs it now.
Jim, he didn't have to go to La La Land. He didn't have to go away to go to La La Land. He's in it. I'm sorry. I had to say that. Did I say that on the air?
I think you said that.
I'm sorry. I said that on the air.
So as we start sort of like winding down a little bit here, there are so many major issues that impact us here in Arizona that, even though you'll be representing Arizona, you're going to be dealing with them from a federal level. Sometimes people don't quite understand that distinction. What's the difference between a state senator and what they do and how they impact our laws and from the federal level. So in this job, which you're seeking as U.S. Senator, what are some of the other major issues, and how are you going to stay tapped into how they uniquely impact our state as well
Great.
as the rest of the nation?
Great question. And number one, the guide for everything is a strategy, the American Constitution and Bill of Rights. Number 2 is that the principles that I outline on our policies on the website, and I speak to on the campaign trail, and you're seeing in the ads that I'm running, I wouldn't say 24/7 Arizona, but pretty close, that we're running and spell those out. Far and away, number 1 of the 3 big things is secure the border, secure the borders. Number 2 is America first. And there's a lot of things that come underneath that, as we've talked. Those really stand up in front and center. And number 3 is the fact that we have gotten so far away from the Constitution with the federal government's expansive nature of its agencies, its reach. You get that federal government back in the little box, not this big box that they try to play and expand every year. Think, view, little box in DC. I'm coming. We're going to get you back into what the Constitution said. Highest unemployment rate in the country would be the zip codes around Washington, DC. There's absolutely no reason for what's going on today. So those 3 principled items. And then again, Cheryl and Nell said on the website, we built out 14 or so of the 20 policies. You'll have those on there. So there's no doubt about what Jim Lamon stands for and his team, because it's a team. It's not me going to DC. And by the way, of those ads, Cheryl, Dan, you're going to have a very, they're very strong. I'd encourage your folks to go to the website if you haven't seen them on TV or otherwise. And they spell it out. I am not mincing words about what our intentions are.
Very good. And it is important to, not dance around phrases, dance around words, but to be forthright and say very specifically, I am for this, I am not for that. And I think that's what you're alluding to. Your ads are doing.
They are, Cheryl. And I was raised that way, from college football. It wasn't, you do your job. You do what you're coached to do, in this case, what the Constitution says. Then you go to military. You do your job. You understand what it is, and you go do it. You don't mince words. And third, in business. And as Coach Bryant taught me and the other guys on the team, it's not about one game, guys. It is about the national championship. Every day you come to work to be the national champion. I intend to do that. Is be the guy on the Senate floor that Arizonans say, my gosh, I wish, we could have had Jim sooner. That people around the country say, my gosh, I wish my senator would stand up for my state and my country the way that Jim is.
Jim, we have a lot of, since COVID happened, we have a lot of Arizona citizens, I'm sure all over the United States, but in Arizona alone, thousands and thousands of them that went and bought their first firearm because they're afraid of what the government is going to do to them. They're afraid of control. Do you have anything to say to those people that are new to wanting to keep their liberties?
Yeah, God bless you for exercising your Second Amendment rights. I said the contrast is so clear. Chicago, where it's been taken away. And in Arizona, we stand for freedom. Again, you can believe me on Second Amendment, given what I've done in my company, for example, with having the company paying for concealed carry permit training, being able to have NRA membership as a benefit. This country is better for the Second Amendment, no question about it. And those in Arizona, I applaud you. Keep it up. We're one of the leaders in the country. I intend to be that on the U.S. Senate floor because I will represent Arizona. This is not McCain's seat. This is not Kelly's, not Lamon's. This is Arizona's seat in U.S. Senate. And those principles that we live by, including Second Amendment, will be loud and clear on the U.S. Senate floor. I will not be bashful.
Awesome.
Very good. Last question. Here in Arizona, some people seem to think that we have become a purple state, which is the blending, right, of the red for GOP and the blue for the Democrats. When I go out and about and I talk to people all over this state, that is not my sense. But if you look at how our legislature is made up right now, you can see why people might say that. And we currently have 2 liberal Democrats serving as our U.S. senators, Kirsten Sinema and Mark Kelly. You're running as a very strong constitutional Republican candidate. So do you feel that Arizona is ready for a candidate like you, a senator like you are saying you will be? And what makes you uniquely qualified to fill that position?
Sure. What we're seeing on the campaign trail, again, we work twice as hard as all the other candidates combined. We're doing 1,200 miles a week across this beautiful state. We have audiences, rallies, and meetings and stuff that are almost 50% greater than last year in election year, in 2020, an election year. People are responding in droves. We can't buy enough yard signs and T-shirts. We're buying them by the 5,000 lots, and we sell out. We now started buying in 15,000 lots to fill the need. Arizona is a red state. You need a candidate like myself who is strong on the principles, who's proven success, not just as a veteran on the gridiron, but in business. America's about business. Arizona is about business and about freedom, and tend to be very strong on the freedom side. Another example of doing what I say I'll do and people can trust me is that I'm not going to take a pension. I'm going to donate my salary. I'm not taking lobbyist dollars. I'm not taking PAC dollars. I'm putting a small fortune of my own, but also the thousands that have come to us, and please continue to do so in both Arizona and the country to support this America First campaign. Arizona's rising up. We're the leader in the audit. We're going to be a leader in this election. Other states, hopefully, will see a rise in candidates willing to speak out, as I am, on freedom and America First. We're going to draw independents. We're seeing them in large numbers coming into our rallies and into our meetings and grand openings. You know, we're opening 14 regional offices across the state. 5 are already open. The most ever was 6.
Wow.
And the staffing, guys, when we look at the numbers, is almost half independents. People are coming that are, and many of them, mothers that have school-age children. They're scared to death about what's happening with Mark Kelly and this liberal agenda, open borders, lack of law enforcement ability because their hands are being tied, CRT in their schools. This is a awakening that Arizona is going to lead the country, and that I will lead the same way on the U.S. Senate floor.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
Well, Jim, all I have to say is save our state and save our country. Thank you very much.
Will do,
Appreciate it.
brother, by the grace of God.
Amen. So tell folks how they can follow the work you're doing and help with the campaign, because that, I think, is part of, people that have too long sat back and figured, well, somebody else will fix it. Somebody else will do it, right?
All right.
If we aren't actively, individually involved and supporting candidates or running ourselves, right? If we're not going to run ourselves and dive into that snake pit, then supporting candidates. Supporting might mean money. Supporting might mean phone calls or knocking on doors or showing up at events. Tell folks what it is you need and how they can reach out and help.
Great question, Cheryl. Thanks. First kind of source of information, JimLamon.com is our website. Look on there for all the social media, jump on there with us as well. You'll also find in there the addresses of our regional offices. You should not have to look very far because, again, with 14 of those, and the addresses are being populated as we open them. Again, no one's ever opened offices in January. No one's ever opened beyond 6, and that was the Trump organization. We're in 14. So we want to get it close to you, from Yuma to, Lake Havasu to Payson. We're all over, including, of course, the Valley. Jump in and work with us. We've got hundreds of great volunteers already. Contribute. Said I'm putting in a lot of funds myself, but guys, it takes a lot of money to beat George Soros and Mark Kelly cabal, but we can do it, and we will do it, and make sure that, leave no question about that. One other is that if you're not registered to vote, or someone who's not, it's also a link on our website to Look Ahead Arizona. This is the largest private voter registration project in the country. I founded it and paying for it. We, Cheryl and Dan, you'll be happy to know, as well as your listeners, for the first time in many, many years, since last May, we are out registering Democrats over 2-1 in the state. The team we put together, there are 25 full-time positions, 5 offices across the state, just doing that, separate from the campaign offices, separate entity. We're making a difference. So many ways to jump in. The website also will give you email addresses where you can contact us, info@jimlamon.com. Guys, the water is warm. Jump in and let's go take back America.
Please.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for all that you have done, are doing. Thank you for your time here today. And we'll definitely want to be checking back and seeing how things are going. And we are going to be out at the Arizona State Capitol on Saturday, February 19th, 2022 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with the big Second Amendment rally. And I know you are a busy dude. We've already got a full docket of speakers, so I'm not going to be able to get you up on there, but I would just love to see you out there interacting with all of our attendees. We usually have about 4,000 people, and it'd be wonderful to
6.
see you
I think
out
it was
there.
6 last time.
I believe it was, but I like to,
Or-
shoot low and
Yeah.
have people be pleasantly surprised. But I'd love to see you come out.
Fantastic. Appreciate the opportunity. And also thank you both for what you're doing and for the Second Amendment people in this beautiful state of ours that have drawn a line in the sand, as I have, and said enough is enough.
Right.
Let's all work together. You're a great voting bloc. Come on to the America First team, JimLamon.com, and let's take our state and our country back.
Fantastic.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Jim.
much, Jim. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. God bless. God bless
Bye.
America.
God bless America. Indeed. Wow. That was really
Refreshing.
huh?
Refreshing.
Refreshing. That's a great word for it. I feel like, he's got just a strong backbone. He doesn't sound to me like somebody who is gonna, do that. He kept saying the word pussyfoot around, right? He's not gonna mamby-pamby.
Right.
He's gonna say, this is what it is. This is where we're going. This is what needs to happen. But I get the sense that it's not, well, because Jim Lamon thinks so.
Right.
He referenced several times that this is the foundation, right?
Right.
And the reason is the next generation. I feel like those are some of the keys of somebody that isn't looking to be a politician, go in and make a bunch of money in Washington, D.C., but to actually serve and represent the people of the state and the people of the nation.
Right. And you say to yourself, okay, so do I go with somebody who's already in office that has experience, that's really screwing things up? Or do I
Really?
put a new person in there that has no experience as a politician? Well, let's look at the person that doesn't have experience and go back and look at how he runs his business. He had successful business, multi-billion-dollar business.
Mhm.
He was a Second Amendment rights guy. He wanted people to learn how to handle firearms and went through all that. And that was in his past. It wasn't something he's not like, see, I'm a Second Amendment guy. I got an AR-15, and they do a photo shoot, and then the guy, you take the gun away. No, he's straight, and I'm refreshed. And
And I like that he worked hard to be an American-based, American-made
right.
business, and you know, I can't imagine that would just evaporate
Right.
because now he's got this different position.
And to call him not really an experienced politician, he is, because he has done stuff for political groups prior to this and was involved
Well,
in them. So
and if
what better way
being a
to-
business owner,
right,
I
you're involved.
mean,
Yeah.
it really
I know it.
does. You have to work on so many different levels. You
Right.
have to be able to, manage money, manage time, manage teams.
Wives.
Huh? What's that?
Wives.
Why? You're a brave, brave man, Mr. Todd. Oh my goodness. Well, on that note, we'll start.
So everybody, just, we're getting ready for election season. Do your research.
Yes.
And,
please.
the core of America is to be free and have rights,
Mhm.
we're no restrictions whatsoever on our rights. Follow people that follow the Constitution. Ask them, do you believe in the Constitution? And really ask them, like we have that governor, and was it New Jersey that said in the past I think he's still the governor, says the Constitution was above his pay grade. Well, when you have politicians that say stuff like that, then they should be completely removed immediately. That's like stealing from a company that you work for. It's stealing our rights away from us. He should be fired immediately for saying that. So keep in mind that to vote for people that follow the Constitution, because America was built strong from our Constitution.
Yeah, that was Phil Murphy that you're
Yeah,
quoting. I know
Phil
he's your
Murphy.
favorite guy. Not. All right. So as we go out, I want to again thank our amazing guest, Jim Lamon. I want to thank our awesome listeners all across this world. I know if you're listening somewhere overseas, this doesn't necessarily, a topic like this doesn't necessarily, impact your daily life. But I know that the ideas that we talk about, our founding documents, the reasons why we make decisions about who we hire with our votes, how we hire people with our votes, that sort of, those sorts of topics do inspire people all across the globe. And wherever there's internet, we have listeners. And when you spend your time with us, your most finite commodity is your time. When you spend it with us, it matters to us. We notice it and we thank you.
Yeah.
And when you take these conversations around your dinner tables and into your carpools and into your, wherever you spend time with your friends and neighbors, that is everything. So really, thank you. And if you ever want to see any past episodes and you want to watch the videos, go to YouTube and click subscribe and notify, please. Also, Gunstreamer and the smartphone app called OpsLens. And if you like to just listen to it, just the audio, because maybe you're out on a bike ride or, a long drive and through the countryside or something like that, at the gym maybe, then go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab and binge listen to your heart's content, darling. And if you click the guest tab, you'll see photos and bios and links to all the guests we've ever had on. It has become quite a body of information
It's
of
like an
subject
encyclopedia of
matter
rights.
experts.
So it's all of our rights.
It's a gun freedomopedia,
Yeah.
right? And so it's a great resource, and we don't hate it when you spend time there. All right, until next time, what are we going to do, Dan?
We're going to pray for our nation. We're going to pray for our politicians, and we're going to pray for the voters to do research, to understand what their responsibilities that they have, and to vote.
I like that. And then how about those politicians that maybe we don't like so much?
Vote them out.
Pray,
But we'll pray for them too.
You pray for them as you're voting them out.
Right.
I love it.
I wish no harm on anyone.
No.
But what I'm praying for is that the right seats get filled with the right people on the bus.
Exactly.
Because you know what happens when you have a bus, Biden, that's driving a bus, that the bus is going everywhere all over the road.
Yeah.
And if we're not careful, that bus is going to crash.
It's true. And
So
maybe we
somebody
don't-
from the back of the bus
yeah,
needs to get up there and
maybe we don't have the most skilled person in that role, perhaps. So yeah, pray for that person. And maybe vote them out. But anyway, all right, until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week. And God bless.
bye-bye.